Hey everyone, and welcome back to Battleborn. It's time for a new build. This one is for Marquis, and I call it the Peasant Queller. All these dirty peasants are running around our battlefield, and we are going to exterminate them. So, Marquis is a sniper. No matter how you build him, he's still a sniper, so you need to be able to snipe people. You need to be a good shot with that sniper rifle, and if you're not, this may not be the character for you. So just keep that in mind. No matter what you do, at the end of the day, you still need to be able to shoot. And the way we're going to build this, the way this build is going to be put together is it's going to have a larger clip. It's going to shoot incredibly fast, and we're going to just dish out a ton of rapid fire damage. All right, and one other note. If you look under the description of Die, it says that the third shot adds 50% of attack damage. That is actually getting nerfed tomorrow, so that's going to be 25% damage. So don't be confused by that. It's not going to ruin this build. This build will still do great. It's just going to bring it down a notch. It's still going to do a ton of damage, but not quite the ridiculous amount that it previously did. So all of the clips and everything, it's going to show that 50% damage. Going forward, that's going to be 25%. All right, so let me show you my Helix choices. All right, level 1, we are going to go with Waste makes Haste. That's going to make it so our Temporal Distortion also increases the movement of our allies. Level 2, we are going to go with Eyes Everywhere. Now we can set up our owls in sort of different lanes, and any characters that try to go past those owls, it's going to reveal them, knock them out of stealth, put them on the map. All right, level 3, I go with the increased clip size up the middle with Bullet Banker, and that's going to increase our clip by 2 to bring us up to 8 bullets per clip, which is great. You don't want to be trying to kill someone, you hit the trigger to finish them off, and whoops, I've got to reload. That's just going to decrease the chance of that happening. Level 4, I go to the left with Time Killer. It's going to add a damage over time to our Temporal Distortion. It's really great for clearing out minion waves, or if you can trap players in it, it's going to do a decent amount of damage to them, so really nice. Level 5, we're going to the left with Efficiency Expert. That will make Die activate on the second shot instead of every third shot. All right, level 6, we are going to go with Distant Time. That is going to increase the casting range of our Temporal Distortion. This is really nice. You can drop it on minion waves from safety. So like an Overgrowth, you can be up in the sniper nest. And as long as those minions get to about the middle of the middle area. I don't know what else to call it. Like you know what I'm talking about, where the waves meet, basically. Right there in the middle, you can hit that area from the sniper nest, so you won't need to leave it if you want to drop down your Temporal Distortion to take out some minions. All right, level 7. We go to the left with Autoloader. That is going to increase our reload speed and our attack speed. So that's just going to get those bullets out faster, and it's going to be a lot of damage if you land them. Level 8, we go to the left with Windfall. So now our predatory strikes are going to leave behind a massive damage over time. All right, level 9, we are going to go to the right with Cease and Desist. This is great for anyone that tries to charge you. So if I'm up in a sniper nest or I'm just hanging back and like Wrath or somebody comes up on me, if I'm quick, I can drop down the Temporal Distortion, and they'll either need to retreat or they'll have to go super slow through it, eat up that damage over time, and be a super easy target for me to smack with my sniper rifle or my pistol, either one, however close they are. All right, level 10. We are going with Wallhax.exe. This is going to let Brindle Blast shoot through walls. And you can use it to hit the sentry through a wall. You can take out an enemy that you've got close to death, and then they're just hiding, trying to regenerate their shields or whatever. Lots of uses for this. It doesn't always come in handy, but honestly, Brindle Blast isn't that great. So I would go with Wallhax.exe, even if it's unlikely that you're going to take advantage of it. Alright, so those are the Helix choices that I go with, and let me show you my gear. So as usual, I have an expensive set, and then I have a cheap set. So the expensive set is for Incursion and Meltdown, and then that cheap set is for Capture. So for the expensive set, we're going to start off here with this Salty Dog. 420 crystal activation cost. It's going to decrease our recoil by 17.5%. Now, if you're a really good shot and the recoil doesn't really bother you, you could go with something else, maybe with some crit damage or movement speed. Lots of options for you, but the recoil helps me out. I like reducing that just a little bit. Helps me just land my shots, so that's what I go with. The second item I go with is this Eviscerating Endoskeletal Graft. I've used this thing all the time. I think I've used it on like every single build or close to it. It's going to add attack damage and attack speed. And then the third item I go with is this Vow of Zealous Fury. So it's going to add attack speed, critical hit damage, which is also great for Marquis, and then stacking attack speed every time I use a skill, which is easy to get up. Just every time your owls are ready, just throw one out, even if it's not in a good spot, just to get those stacks up, because that attack speed is fantastic, especially when it's coupled with the level 7 Helix that also increases attack speed. It's just ridiculous. You get like a machine gun pistol. All right, that's the expensive set. Here is the cheap set. Salty Dog again, reducing that recoil. Then I've got this Corroded Endoskeletal Graft, going to increase my attack damage at the cost of taking more damage. But if I'm playing well, nobody's going to get close to me. And same thing with this item, this Corroded Retracting Wristblade. I'm going to increase the damage that I take, but I'm going to increase my attack speed. So I'm going to be dishing out a ton of pain right out the gate, because both of those are free. And then I can get my recoil down once I get 420 crystals. All right, well, there you go. There is my setup, my Helix choices, and my gear. So let's jump to some clips and I'll explain to you how to play this build. With Marquis, the ideal situation is to find a spot or multiple spots to camp out that have good vision of the battlefield. With a good sniper spot, you can hit your targets and require them to find cover, or you're just going to kill them. Of course, your shooting has to be on point, but we're assuming it is. The good players aren't just going to let you shoot freely into their team though, and they're going to try to push you out of position, either with return fire or rushing you. Dropping down owls will help you defend against enemies trying to rush you, and your temporal distortion is great for a retreat. Also, don't be shy to use his amazing backhand quick melee attack to send them flying backwards. Plus, it's freaking hilarious. If they apply too much pressure, you'll need to stay mobile and utilize multiple locations to keep them guessing where you're at. Sometimes I actually just prefer this highly mobile type of gameplay anyway, but it really just depends on the enemy setup and how they're moving around the map. If you can stay mobile, you can get yourself into positions where you can land a couple of shots before the enemy can figure out where you're at, and then it's really likely that you can finish them off before they figure out how to get out of your line of sight. At level 3, you get the increased clip size, which is fantastic for people like me who aren't always the most accurate sniper, because it lessens the likelihood that you'll run out of bullets right as you need that last shot to finish someone off. I can't tell you how many people got away from me before I started using this Helix choice who just needed that one last shot, but of course, I had to reload every single time. On that note too, it's important to reload whenever you feel you won't have enough bullets to finish someone off, because once they start to flee or run for cover, you need to be able to get those last shots in as soon as possible. With the increased clip size, once we get our attack speed super high with our gear and our Helix, we'll be burning through these clips super fast, and an 8-bullet barrage is pretty nasty. At level 4, we get the damage over time on our temporal distortions, which is great for killing minion waves. It's also just an extra help for any players you catch in it who are trying to flee or they're rushing towards you. especially for me because for whatever reason I'm pretty bad at landing those pistol shots, at least sometimes, and it's great to get some guaranteed damage in there. Level 5 gives us the ultimate and changes Eins die to proc on every other bullet landed consecutively rather than every third, which is a good boost to your damage. The ult is great for minion clear, and I especially like it for hitting players that have gotten too close to me because pistol shots can be difficult to land, but that ult is really easy to land at close range. You can just point it straight down if someone's right on you. However, the ult does do more damage the longer it's been traveling, so if you can land a distance shot on someone with it, by all means, blow them up. At level 7, the build kind of all comes together because of the attack speed boost from your Helix as well as the attack speed items you should now have activated or close to activated. The crazy attack speed you can get allows you to snipe people down incredibly quick. Anyone that leaves themselves exposed is going to have a ton of bullets rain down on them, and they hurt a lot. If they decide to get close to you, the pistol attack speed is even more ridiculous, but the pistol is much harder to land shots with. So I wouldn't recommend letting people close to you if you can help it. So the same approach as always, just keep them at distance. Don't let anyone close. Now when I play Marquis, I'm always thinking about retreating. So that's not a big deal for me. If anyone seems like they're even thinking of getting close, I'll usually drop down a temporal distortion on my escape route and prepare for them to close the gap. The cooldown on temporal distortion isn't too long, so I use it early and often because it takes a second or so to actually appear when you place it. So if you're too slow on the trigger, the enemy can get right through it before it activates, and if they're on you and you don't have your distortion, you're toast. They're just gonna rip right through you because Marquis doesn't have much health. So you need to make sure you're getting away from them. At level 9, we get the increased slow effect on temporal distortion, which is just a cherry on top for the ability. You won't really use it differently, but now it'll trap things for longer, and thus, whatever it is will take more damage from the damage over time. Also, it will allow you to create more space on any pursuers. Level 10 will get you the ability to shoot through walls with your ultimate, but honestly, that's just more fun than practical in most situations. I tell you though, it's highlight reel material if you can land a kill through multiple walls though. Well, there you have it, the Peasant Queller build for Marquis. I hope all of you distinguished individuals will take up the dapper robot and lay these savages to rest. I hope you enjoy the build, and be sure to let me know how it works out for you in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.